Coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the FasterFreedom Show.
With your hosts, Sam Prim and Lucas Whoa!
We talking about freedom?
Dang.
Oh gosh, this is going to be an interesting episode. Thanks for joining us on the Faster Freedom Show. Lucas is in one of those moods where he's overly tired and is just absolutely obnoxious.
But mad energy. Overly tired, but it's like to a point where I had to like over caffeinate, and we're just going to give it to him today.
We're going to be obnoxious today. So Lucas is in a mood, so just be prepared for that. We have a great episode for you today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are a little bit, I wouldn't say moving slower, but it's been a long week. We had Drake. Yeah. You weren't here on Wednesday because you stayed out till 2:30 in the morning.
That's false.
How late did you stay out on Tuesday night?
I was probably asleep by 1:30.
Okay. You stayed out till 1:30 in the morning, and so you weren't here Wednesday. And we had our Buyers Club meeting last night where we presented about our biggest mistakes we made in our career. So it's been a long week.
Long week, but a fun week.
It has been a fun week.
And our energy levels are, at least this morning, just not where they usually are, because we've spent a lot of energy this week giving to people what they want, and that's what we're going to do today.
Stop talking about giving it to people, Lucas. All right. So on today's episode, let's go over the agenda. We are going to do our little opening rant here. We got some headlines to talk about, definitely some interesting things going on. We have our special guest today. His name is Andrew Burtt.
Very special.
He is special. I met him when we were like, how old are you in kindergarten?
6.
Because that's when I met Andrew. So I've known Andrew for 30 years. Wow. So anyways, he's our
crazy.
Dispositions rep. We're going to get into his story about him quitting his job. He has sold over 400 houses in the past 2 years, which is crazy. We're going to talk about that, his journey, a cool deal he's working on, play a little bit of Would You Rather, Motivation Friday, and Trash It. And I'm excited for Lucas to see Trash It. All right, that's just a little spoiler alert. We may do Would You Rathers first because Andrew is in the snow right now, and he is not here, and he's supposed to be here like at 2, so he's supposed to come on at 1:45.
Yeah.
So he's going to be late.
So Trash It. Did you change the shooting of the trash can game already because you were down 1?
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah. And it's Frames Friday. Looking fresh, Prem.
Let whatever social media platform you're on watching, comment where you're from, and let us know how many episodes you have watched. I like to see the chats up here. We can see where you're from, see how many episodes you've watched. Let's get some interaction going.
Yeah, hell, ask us anything.
We may answer some of the questions.
We might. We can't answer them all, but we'll answer some of them if we get to them.
We do what we want. It's our show.
Yeah.
It's our show. All right, so Lucas, some interesting things going on around the world. This gentleman
who's
on
that guy?
His name is Alexi Naval, and he's no longer living. What happened to him?
Yeah, so we
stop laughing at it.
It's just so wild.
Yeah.
Right? We dug into this a little bit before the show, and he was one of Vladimir Putin's
opponents.
So in Russia, they elect officials, and Putin currently has the highest level of elected official, correct?
Correct, yes.
Do they call that a president
They
over
do,
there?
yes. Mm-hmm.
So he's the president, and I guess this guy was one of the people that was going to run against him.
Yep.
And he was recently put in jail.
Arrested,
put in jail, and while he was in jail, he died somehow.
Yeah, so we're not laughing at the death, just how like archaic their system is over there. Obviously, it's not the elections. People like joke or don't joke that they're like fixed over here. They're literally fixed over in Russia. This guy's opposing Putin. The election's in like 3 weeks. It's like the 12th through the 14th of March. It's like 2.5 weeks. This guy got put in jail, and they killed him because he was trying to go against Putin. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's
why.
Insecurity there or what it is, but my goodness, Putin.
I know. It sounds like specifically he was against the war in Ukraine. So one of the quotes that Alexi said in the past is, he defines or describes Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine as the most stupid and senseless war of the 21st century.
And Putin said, well, I think you're stupid, and now you're dead.
Yeah, that's so crazy, man. What do you think he was arrested on?
Who knows? There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on over there. I remember Brittany Griner was arrested over there. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like 2-3 years ago.
Just with like
weed
or something?
I think it was like some like oil, like some weed oil, like something ridiculous. And She was in jail for a while, and we
Yeah.
had to send over a mass murderer that we had from Russia. So we swapped a female basketball
Yeah.
player who had a little bit of
Weed.
THC
Yeah.
oil for somebody who's murdered people. Like Russia is
crazy, man.
fucked up.
Yeah, when they arrested this guy, they moved him to it's called an Arctic penal colony late last year. So he's been in prison for a while, I
Yeah.
guess. Maybe
Well,
not
late
a
last year. It's
while.
been 3-4 months.
Good
Yeah.
point. But that particular prison is considered one of the country's toughest prisons.
So he probably wasn't loving life.
I mean, one of their they're probably. Oh, never mind. Our prison's probably pretty bad too.
Yeah, but anyways, that's just a crazy situation, and NATO chief said she was deeply saddened by it. Of course, it's crazy to think like all the stuff that goes on over here. It's just way more corrupt around other countries in the world. I know that we're not like the perfect society, but there's a lot worse ones out there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Cool. That is a little bit of crazy, a little bit of a kind of left pivot here. Nike is currently just laid off 2% of its employees, which is about 1,500 jobs during some restructuring. And I don't know if this is like a foreshadowing of something, Lucas, in general, but I feel like every week we could talk about some, like, no matter what the economy's doing, like laying off, either it's restructuring or if it's economic based or what it is. But Nike is laid off some peeps.
Yeah, I think, man, I get restructurings happen. Like, we're always looking for ways for different divisions to work more efficiently in our companies, and I know other companies obviously are thinking the same way. When you're that big, it gets challenging. Like, if we restructure in our company, we are able to figure out where, we can put these other awesome people somewhere else on our team, right? When you're that big, though, it's just hard to replace 1,500 people in your organization and still get the type of cost savings that they're looking for. So, I mean, I get it. It's a bummer, but when you get to that size of business, it's just freaking part of it. It sucks.
I wonder. I don't know if that's anything to do with Tiger leaving Nike or what it is. I wonder. I know Nike stock hasn't been the best, but like I wonder how much. And I don't know if we can look this up. I wonder how much Jordan, like, shoe brand is doing as good as it ever done. How much that carries Nike if that like rolls up? Like, I'm sure it rolls up to Nike, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know the exact
on their P&L
structure
or
of
whatever
that, though.
there is for like their stock price and everything. So
yeah, that's interesting. But I think you did make a good point. Like, I don't know how often, like, when the economy was booming, and I don't even know when that would be, but maybe like 2020, 2021. Were there still these type of layoffs, and were we tracking them that way? Because you're right, it does seem like we're talking about this like once a week with some of these big companies having some sort of percentage of their workforce getting laid off or let go or something. So maybe that is something to say with what the economy's doing, but I don't know. If we keep tracking it, maybe it's just kind of natural course of business as well.
this is how we will reignite our growth, is what they said. Like, we're laying people off to reignite our
That's
growth.
what the
That's
CEO said, and he said that in a memo.
Well,
so he
that's-
probably wrote a fucking email to his team, be like, "Hey guys,
yeah.
1,500 of them are gone, but hey, this is why this is a good thing."
This is what we need. Let us know what you think about that in the comment section. Again, let us know where you're from if you're watching. We like to see kind of where the audience is from and do normal comments, not douchebag comments like the one that's up there right now. All right. So that's interesting what Nike's doing. So let's take another pivot into the inflation report that just came out. Well, so the inflation report just came out on Tuesday. A lot of people were expecting 2.9. So for the first time since COVID, to be in the twos again, which the goal of the Fed is 2. A lot of people were expecting 2.9. It came in at 3.1, which is still lower, but not quite as low as they wanted. And the market really, really took a big hit, for a couple of days, and now it's already back. But interesting. Let's talk a little about inflation.
Yeah, so inflation is coming down, right? CPI was up to, what was it at one point? Like freaking 9?
I think it was 9 something.
That's
yeah,
crazy to think about, right?
that's scary.
And obviously, inflation affects a lot of people. It also affects the prices of real estate. Is closely tied to inflation. So it's something that we track pretty heavily around here. And as inflation went up, the Federal Reserve had to raise the Fed's funds rate to kind of help tamper some of that inflation and bring it down. And they've been working on that since the past couple of years. So it's been a long ride. It's been kind of bumpy, but we haven't had a Fed funds raised since July
Yep.
of last year, and people keep trying to project in the future when they're going to cut rates. And if inflation came in back into the twos, I think we would see some rate cuts a little sooner.
Here in a few weeks, yeah.
Possibly here in March. But I do think with that 3.1, that the Fed has continued to tell us that the benchmark is still 2% inflation.
Yes.
That's what they're trying to get this down to. There's not a new benchmark just because we've had high inflation over the past couple of years. It's still 2, and if we're not there, or we don't see us getting there in the foreseeable future, then I don't see any huge rate cuts in the near future. It's down, right? It was year over year 3.1, but I think it was down 0.3 of a percentage point from last month or something like that. So it's heading the right direction, just not as fast as they projected. And because they've had that 2.9% projection, it came in at 3.1. It shook the markets there for a little bit, but they've since bounced back.
Yeah, the markets are wild right now. I think the reason the market tanked for a little bit, and we're talking about the stock market, is because they were expecting a little bit lower, and they were expecting a March rate cut. They were excited, and the fact that it's probably going to be May now is why the market's tanked. I think it's a direct correlation. So I think that's what everybody is expecting, and things have generally gone how the Fed said they're going to go. People try to read in between comments, read in between the lines, and from what I can tell, and I've seen, they literally have done what they say they're going to do. People are just trying to predict and get ahead of it, but they're doing what they said. We're not going to lower it till inflation's under control. Our biggest way to curb inflation is to have high interest rates, along with some other things, but that's the main thing they can do. So it's who knows what it's going to be. I'm ready for a rate decline a little bit. Sure. I'd like to get a little bit cheaper money.
And we're trending the right direction. And, prices of everything for your everyday person are going up at a much slower rate than they have in the past. So getting that under control is going to be super beneficial to the everyday person. And then obviously for our real estate investing community, it's going to be beneficial to us too, to get that Fed's fund rate down a little bit. So it makes investing in real estate a little more attractive.
Yeah, I mean, so with inflation, just kind of round that out, with inflation, it's more expensive to operate, it's more expensive to borrow money, and your profit margins shrink. Therefore, your discretionary income shrinks. Therefore, kind of the economy slows down. So as soon as it gets a little bit cheaper to borrow money, people can make a little bit higher profit margins, have a little more income, and spend the money and kind of turn the economy. So that's the whole goal, was to slow down the economy, to get inflation slowed down. So I think it's working for the most part, but I mean, we'll see. I think I told you this the other day. From what I can tell, I think we're going to look back and see that Jerome Powell did a pretty good job overall with that soft landing. I think people say he could have started to raise interest rates faster, but I'm sure he looked at data that told him not to do that. So anyways, I think so far he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, on to my boy Yeezy. That's him apparently.
How do we know? That is something that he would wear.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of dope if you think about it.
You think that's dope?
I mean, not like to be out in public in, but I mean, maybe.
So you just want to wear that at your house, hanging out with your
couch,
kids, watching TV?
My kid would love that.
Yeah, Drake would
Big
love that.
Black Panther fan.
Yeah, my kids would not like that.
That would scare Eliza.
Yeah, it would scare Eliza a lot.
Yeah.
So anyways, Kanye, interesting thing, we're going to pull up his commercial. Luke did not see his Super Bowl commercial. I did not either, but I saw it. And we'll actually get to some questions because we got a little bit of time to kill. So throw some questions up there. We will 100% get to them. But for now, Kanye released his album. And he wasn't supposed to, right? Well, Luke, why don't you talk a little bit about this? Because Kanye does things his own way.
Vultures. We got some Kanye fans in the building, too. Shano and T. York back there. T. York, real quick, was Vultures with another artist? Ty Dolla $ign. So it was kind of like a joint album. I haven't listened to any of it yet. T. York said there's a couple bangers on those, so we might have to check it out.
T. York also thinks Drake's the GOAT, so I don't know if I judge his character, his music.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so real quick, Kanye. Let's talk about Kanye a little bit, man.
Okay.
So 20 years he's been around. I think it was like the 20-year anniversary for College Dropout.
Ooh, that was an album.
Like the other week or something. So been quite the run, a couple decade run. And me and you have been a part of that, big Kanye fans for a long time.
We've been a very integral part of his success.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, Kanye.
But honestly, we probably liked him for like the first half, and the second half,
not as big.
Still crazy talented dude, but also a little bit wild and radical these days as well. So, and I think his music kind of suffered a little bit because of that, but maybe not. He's just changing some things. But anyway, so distributor. So he brought this album to his distributor, and I think it's Fuga. Fuga. We'll call it Fuga. And he's been with Fuga for a long time. Kanye's been with Fuga for a long time. And he brought this album to him, in the past. And pretty much, here's a quote from one of their spokesperson. Exercising our judgment in the ordinary course of business, we decline to do so, meaning they declined to release the album.
Okay.
So Kanye probably got pissed off in some way and somehow went around them and released the album anyway.
Kanye doing what Kanye wants to do.
Yeah, that is a very Kanye thing.
Yes, that's Ye-like.
Good for him. That's why he's a legend. That's why he's the GOAT.
I don't know if he's the GOAT, but he's a wild man. He definitely has some issues, but in general, he's a very talented guy. I don't really know what to think of this. Labels have been just coming down on these artists lately, so they're not letting them be them. I'm just taking this take from my boy Gino the Ghost. Labels have been lazy recently. They basically have been telling people, just put your shit on TikTok till it goes viral. That's how we're going to promote your album. We're going to do that. And now, they're making artists become entrepreneurs and have to post and do all this stuff when before artists would just show up to record and show up to do TV, radio interviews. So anyways.
Yeah, it should be the other way around. That should be how the label finds
correct.
you.
There's a whole switch in the
and
dynamic.
then once they get you, then they can use your platform to spread your message, and they don't have to do that anymore. Even though some of the biggest artists in the world still use social media and platforms to spread their.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's pull up the commercial for Lucas that hasn't seen. So this was his commercial, Lucas. So this was in the Super Bowl. I believe he paid $7 million for this spot, and this commercial is hilarious. And I think they made he made a lot of money on selling the shoes from this commercial. Ready? This is the commercial.
I haven't seen it yet.
And it's my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com, and I'm going to write it at the bottom of the screen, and I got some shoes, and that's it.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was his commercial.
So that's just like an iPhone.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't spend any money on production.
And it's like there's the car in the background.
I think it's brilliant.
And from what their stats that I read, he made a lot of money. They made way more than what they spent on that commercial.
Yeah, the brilliance to me is if you saw that on your social media feed, it would just kind of get lost because there's a lot of that type of shit there. But on a Super Bowl commercial, you're pretty much expecting production and quality, and so when that pops up, it almost catches your attention more than the production does. So that's super cool.
That was another Super Bowl commercial from a couple years ago that I thought was brilliant. Do you remember the Coinbase commercial? They had a QR code bouncing on the screen,
yes,
like it, and just bounce around. There was nothing else. It was blue. You didn't even know what it was for.
I think it was last year.
And it just bounced around for 30 seconds, and so many people, including myself, were like, "What is going on?" And then you get up and you put your phone to the screen and you zoom in and you see the QR code. And it was for Coinbase. I thought that was brilliant. Low production, but so many people pulled up the QR code, millions.
Yeah.
So anyways,
very cool, man.
That was pretty cool. So yeah, Kanye is a wild man.
He sold some shoes.
Yeah.
Well, good.
I like it for sure. All right.
And some albums.
He does that. All right, let's get to some questions here. Well, we got Andrew, trudging through the snow to get here. Hopefully he's not driving too fast. But let's get to some questions. So you got one, Lucas?
Oh, which one? Yeah.
I don't know.
Explain how to get your first rental property. I want to get into real estate. Cool. So that's exactly, what we did 10 years ago, probably to this date. Sam and I were meeting in a restaurant trying to figure out what our business strategy is. We had no freaking idea. We just started writing stuff down on pieces of paper and I was like, dream big, we got this. And
that was in Brentwood, wasn't it? What was that restaurant?
I think it was Twin Peaks, maybe. No.
It's a TGI Fridays or something? It wasn't Twin Peaks.
Okay.
I don't go into places like that, Lucas.
No,
Come on.
You wouldn't.
No, of course not.
Me neither.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're like 10 houses a year for the next 10 years, right? So I'm going to skip a lot of the details of the story, but we found this house on the MLS, and today you can find rental properties at the right discount on the MLS. So MLS is the house database, the on market that all the real estate agents have access to. So if you don't have your license, maybe go out there and meet some investor-friendly real estate agents to start looking in areas that you're looking to buy your first rental property. You got to line up your money to buy it. That'll be either private money, hard money lender, and then you buy it. You're gonna have to rehab it because that's the way we teach. Fix it up. And then put a tenant in it, and then go get a refinance with a bank. So that's kind of the super short version, and we've done it 150 plus times.
We have, yeah. No, it's an interesting way to do things, and there's so much that goes into it. That's why we have this podcast platform where we talk about a lot of different things on there. I like it. So this is why we're doing this. So I think Nathan said, hey, y'all, first time here. How does Kanye West have anything to do with wholesaling 400 houses? Well, Nathan, we talk about real estate, life, business, and finance, and that's a life segment. We're getting ready to have our guest on, but he's a little bit delayed. If you can't wait for him, you can go away and never come back.
Oh, no. Shout out to Nathan. Thanks for the question, man.
Yeah, it was a great question. Very valuable question. Thank you for adding value to our show. You seem like a good guy.
Matt, do you offer DSCR lending? We do not offer long-term financing. We have, some great partners that provide DSCR lending, such as Capwell, I think, provides some DSCR lending, and so does a program or a company called Renovo that we've used before. So DSCR loans, for those of you who don't know, are debt service coverage ratio loans. Great products if you're using the Burtt strategy and looking to refinance on the back end.
Awesome. Keep the questions coming. And somebody asked, what was that site again? That's the MLS. It's called the Multiple Listing Service.
Yeah.
It's a site for agents. So you have to be an agent to get access to it, or you can use some software like we have that can get you access for it as well. Batchley's has access to it. A lot of different places have access to it. So people are laughing at me going at our boy for being a little negative Nancy. So keep your questions coming. In the meantime, Lucas, I would like you to highlight last night the top 2 things that you think the audience took from our presentation.
Yeah, so last night, Sam and I spoke at our buyers club that we help, a real estate investment meetup that we help host here in our office. So we got a 25,000 square foot office here. All of our businesses are upstairs, and then downstairs is our title company, some partner companies, and then about a 12,000 square foot meeting center with a cool bar and, really cool. So we bring about, every single month, we bring about a couple hundred real estate investors, vendors, contractors.
It was probably close to 300 last night, probably like maybe 260, 270.
But last night, Sam and I packed the house, standing room only, and discuss some of our biggest mistakes and challenges over the last decade that we made, and it was really cool. I think we were super vulnerable, and people enjoy that, seeing that we're human and not these superhuman legend investors.
We are not that. No, most of the mistakes were your fault, but yes.
Yeah, as usual, right?
Yes.
Hey, you swing big, Sam. Sometimes you're gonna miss,
and you can't.
Maybe you should start swinging big.
You can't hit a home run with your bat on your shoulder. I said that. I heard a lot of people liking that. So Tanya was there. She said it was an awesome presentation. So Lucas, I got another question for you. Lucas, do you think being vulnerable is a strength or a weakness? And I want to see your thoughts in the comments. I want to see everybody comment. Do you think being vulnerable is a strength or a weakness? What do you think, Walls?
Yeah, I'm not going to just say one word, obviously.
You can extend your answer.
Yeah, so I think what being vulnerable does is shows you're human, shows you that you can be relatable, and it builds trust with you and your team.
Okay.
That's what it does. And if you have trust built, you're able to have the hard conversations quicker and get to the point and overcome challenges quicker. So I believe vulnerability is a strength.
Nice. K8 says strength. Gabbylicious18 says strength. Tim says strength. Tanya says strength. Everybody says strength, Lucas.
Yeah, those 3 people have. So there was that one guy.
2, 4.
4. Well, didn't you post that as a social media post?
I did. I did this on on
Twitter.
Twitter. It was several months ago. It was Twitter at the time, and I asked that same question, and I said strength, and somebody was disagreeing with me, and they said it's a weakness, and it was just kind of that like macho-ness that's kind of a little bit obnoxious.
To me, that's weak.
I think it shows lack of intelligence, honestly, emotional and physical intelligence. But anyways, we were arguing, like not really, like it was a very low-level argument, and then the dude just blocked me. And that I think the reason you remember that is because I talked about the kind of the dangers of an echo chamber and like anybody that disagrees with you, you just block them. So all you see, all you hear, all your feedback is only your views. And hopefully people aren't naive enough or cocky enough to think that their view is right about everything.
You know what that reminds me of, Sam?
What?
Kanye West a little bit.
Yes. Well, so again, we can kind of wrap that to Kanye.
Yeah, that's how it relates.
I saw some people like I think people that were being objective and nice, and they're like, Kanye West, obviously to a certain degree, I'm not diagnosing him, but he has some mental illness with some of the things he's done and said it. But he's just on the national.
Doesn't necessarily have to be.
Mental struggles. Yeah. I mean, he does to a certain degree with some of the things he said. You've heard him say, and he's just like the whole world can see it. So that's why it's challenging. Everybody goes through that.
Tony said, if it's a weakness, they are probably a narcissist. I think that's so true.
I could see that for sure. I like that a lot.
Anyway, we went to a Drake J. Cole concert this week, right? And J. Cole has this song he put out like 8 years ago. I don't even know if these young cats heard it, but he has an entire...
Somebody said he's deep. I think they're talking about me because Luke's never been deep before. I say that almost every episode.
You do. But J. Cole has an entire verse about Kanye being like surrounded by yes men. I don't know if you've ever heard that, T. York, but we'll have to show it to him.
He's heard it if he's a guy. Strength. There, Dusty says strength. Dusty, how many drinks have you had today? Can you comment that, please?
I think
Foundry Properties is in there.
I've heard Dusty saved somebody's life on the beach today with CPR.
Did you really, Dusty? How did you hear that?
Shelly texted Ash, and Ash screenshot it to me.
Dusty is a former paramedic. He works with us now. He owns 40 Rentals. He was actually one of our guests on he was the guest on our very first show. So anyways, yeah, he apparently saved somebody's life today.
He's in Aruba, took a long weekend, went to Aruba, and then gave CPR and saved somebody's life today.
There to go. That a boy, Dusty.
That's such a Dusty thing.
I wonder how many drinks he had before. Hopefully he's had some after to celebrate because that is impressive.
Good for you. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, Dusty, for saving somebody's life. He couldn't save Alexi's life, though.
No, I don't think he...
Was that too dark of a joke? No?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just so far from home, it's hard to get like super emotional.
It's like something out of a movie.
It is, yeah. It seems fake.
Tyler didn't like it. I saw his head pop up like a gopher. Cool. All right. Well, throw any other questions you have in the chat box. If not, I'm going to say my favorite part of last night, Lucas.
Yeah, I didn't even get into the actual
You didn't.
specifics.
You just kind of took it everywhere.
I just took it what it is and what we're able to give the community. But tell me about some specific takeaways that one of your favorite parts.
So Luke's and I had a meeting. We have a monthly owner meeting where we talk about, kind of big things going on. He is deep. Yeah, people are getting it. Yeah. Lucas is shallow. That's mean.
That's also a J. Cole song.
Shallow?
She's shallow, but... Okay, I'm not going to say...
What does he say?
I can't on air.
Matt would get mad at you?
Yeah, Matt would get mad.
Okay, we don't want Steve to get mad. All right, so we talked a little bit earlier. So we had our meeting where Luke was saying, we were talking about the presentation, kind of giving a little Monday morning quarterback, and he's like, we need to do a better job and try to be intentional about how some of our issues can relate to newer investors, because most people watching this is their newer investors, right?
Yeah.
So... a couple things that we said were like our big main issue was we didn't raise enough money on this hotel that we're rehabbing. We didn't raise enough money on a neighborhood that we're buying, and all the issues and financial constraints and bottlenecks that caused. But I think that's very applicable to somebody. If you're a brand new real estate investor and you're raising money to buy your very first deal, raise a little bit more money than you think you should.
Yeah.
Because I think it can be very, very scary for somebody, especially if they don't have access to funds like we had or relationships. If you raise $150,000 for a deal to buy it and fix it up, and you're all in for 180, like where's that other $30,000 coming from? So raise more than you need. If you don't use it, it's not the end of the world to pay a little bit of percentage on that extra money. I think that's a key thing to take away.
Just a super simple example, like you find a house for $100,000 and it's in good shape. It needs $15,000 worth of work. So it needs maybe a quick paint job and some flooring. Everything else is quality for a rental. Instead of going out and borrowing 100 plus 15, which is $115,000, maybe go out and borrow 120 or 125, just in case your rehab goes over, stuff goes wrong. And I'd rather have that extra cash sitting there and paying a little bit of interest on it than go over budget and have to dip into my personal cash to pay for that budget, pay for that overrun.
So if you raise an extra $10,000 that you end up not using, but you have a little bit of security, and you're paying,
say 8%
divided by 12, so $66
a month.
Yeah. So if it's a 6-month project, times $600.
Okay.
Yeah. So Yeah, $400. So
Yeah, I've seen 10 months.
yeah, so it's if it's a 6-month project and you raise 10 extra grand, it's going to cost you $400 in interest.
Yeah.
I definitely performed CPR today, Dusty said. There you go.
Did you save them?
Yeah, did you save them? Hopefully they're okay,
Yeah.
A, and were you the reason for that, B?
Yes. Let us know. Let us know.
Dusty says no drinks. So keep the questions going. But anyways, yeah, so raise a little bit of extra money. It's not like the interest you're paying, it's, that's $400 is well worth having that extra money in there just in case it happens. So Tim said, what are some ways to raise capital?
Great question. Yeah, a lot of different ways to raise capital. The way we do it is we work with private lenders. So like the big boys, they start these funds and they have accredited investors and they spend a lot of money on attorneys to set up these funds, and then everybody they can go market and get people to dump money into these funds. But the simplistic way is to do it, have one private lender per deal, and when you tie a private lender to a deal, you don't have to go the accredited route or go through the SEC or anything like that. So we like to develop relationships with private lenders that maybe are in our network somewhere out there. It could be a friend of a friend, or a friend of our parents, or a friend of an uncle, or a family member, or someone that comes to Buyers Club, or an insurance agent. Somebody that's in an arm's length relationship with you, that maybe has an extra $50,000 sitting in a 401k that they want to cash out and get to use, or a self-directed IRA is a lot of people use a self-directed IRA to invest at us, or just sitting in their checking account. $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, somewhere in there is where you want to start. And you'd be surprised how many people have something along those lines sitting around. And Sam always talks about it's like the professionals that have been probably working for, a couple decades maybe. So, 40 to 65 is probably your sweet spot there. People have a little extra money and probably maybe don't want to become too reliant on the stock market. Like, they don't want all their money in the stock market. Who knows what's going to happen there, and they might have some interest in real estate, and this is a way for them to get involved in real estate without actually having to do all the work.
No, I like that. I think that's good. So last night, and there's a couple more questions I want to get to, but this is crazy. So last night I described a typical private lender. Luke alluded to that, but I was like, your typical private lender is somebody in their 40s or 50s. They worked at a corporate job for 25 years. They have their house paid off or close to paid off. They have kids in high school. They have a 401k they can borrow against, an IRA that they can self-direct, and they want to diversify their portfolio a little bit. And I said that in a presentation. We had 2 people come up to us. The one lady that talked to me, she said, I'm exactly who you described. My house is paid off. My kids are in high school. I have a good job. I have some income, and I'm wanting to diversify, so can I lend you money? And I was like, yes. Give me your card, and we'll figure it out. So we unintentionally might have raised $500,000 or $1 million bucks last night just talking about what a true typical private lender really is.
For sure. Speak your truth. I love that. Another question is, would you recommend doing a BRRRR on mobile homes? I'm doing it now, and finding it alone was rough. Yeah, I
Your
bet.
Long-term loan's going to be rough on mobile.
It is. And I think it's such a big part of executing the BRRRR strategy is figuring out that back-end financing. And we did not figure it out going into it. On our first deal, and we really struggled. We almost had to sell that house. That's the best part about doing a BRRRR deal. Like, if you can't find a back-end loan before you rent it out, you just sell it. Because if you buy it right, you got some built-in 20-25% equity, sell it, make some money, move on, and work on finding that loan for the next one. But you can BRRRR anything is the crazy thing. Anything that generates income, you can BRRRR. We've BRRRRed apartment complexes. We're BRRRRing a resort. We can BRRRR a package of houses. You can BRRRR an individual house. You can BRRRR a mobile home park. You just have to find that right banking partner on the back end that likes to lend on the asset that you have.
Can you BRRRR this?
Does that generate income?
Does this generate income?
It's green.
It is. All right, couple wrap-up questions. So, what about bad credit people? Great question, Tim. So private lenders usually don't look at your credit score, so you have to have your back-end financing lined up, or private lenders don't care about that. Gabby Licious, 18. Do you think she's 18?
Or born in 18, and she's like 6.
Hopefully not. So do you guys only flip and resell houses, or do you flip and rent? No, we do it also. We flip we flip and resell a wholesale and flip about 250 houses a year. We have 30 doors or 300 rental doors, so we hold as well.
Yep.
So 150 single family
Flipping and
houses.
wholesaling is great for that active income. Rentals is that recurring income and generational wealth.
Perfect. All right. I feel like I'm sick and tired of born in 18. Oh, she's laughing. Good. All right. So Andy, Robert, Burtt, get your little. I'm going to be nice. Get your butt up here. So we're done stalling. We had to stall for about freaking 20 minutes because you were going through the snow. So this is the feature that everybody wants to see, Andrew. So Burtt, we were talking, we were stalling, and somebody said, what does Kanye West have to do with selling 400 houses in 2 years? Because they wanted to hear you about your selling 400 houses in 2 years, and we were talking Kanye, and they got mad because you weren't here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Talking to the mic, you knucklehead.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Mike.
There you go.
What up, Mike?
What does Kanye have to do with it?
Can you relate Kanye to real estate for us?
Please, go.
Your turn.
Yeezys.
Yeah.
Love Yeezys.
Yeah.
Did you
gotta
see
pay,
Super
right?
Bowl commercial?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. And I would say there's ups and downs in real estate, similar to Kanye's behavior.
Okay.
Overall emotional roller coaster.
There you go.
That's good. That's a great.
There you go. So
Great
this
job.
is Andrew Robert Burtt. This is the gentleman I told you about earlier.
Some love, buddy. Good to
That
see you, bro.
I have known. We met in kindergarten, so 36. So I've known you for 30 freaking years.
That's crazy.
That's a long
That's
time.
obnoxious.
Is that John Weldon Elementary? Or
Yeah, it was
what?
a John Weldon.
Wolves.
I remember
Wolves.
the first memory of Andrew. We were playing soccer at recess, and I dribbled the ball around him, and he fell over, and he goes, "Show off!" and he was on the ground. That's the first thing.
So you broke his ankles?
yeah,
or
and
something?
he yelled, "Show
guess
off!"
so.
at me.
Yeah.
I was never a soccer player per se.
Yeah.
No, you're more
Makes
baseball
Sam
guy.
Feel good.
I didn't
Some
meet you
moves.
guys that early, but it was
Middle
middle
school,
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Met you both. Started playing.
Sixth grade.
Started playing baseball with AB over here. He had a mean knuckleball.
He did.
This
He's a
guy.
knuckleballer.
Yeah. Couldn't throw a curve, so I settled on a knuckler.
You did
was
throw
nasty.
that knuckler. Yeah,
little circle change mixed
Yeah.
in.
it moved a little bit.
I know. We got Jake Houseman here, and I think we should have him pitch to us this year and see if we could get a hit.
We cannot get a hit.
I'm
0%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he
might
does
have-
want to play some catch.
Yeah,
in the
line it
parking
up.
lot. Yeah.
I
Line it
like
up.
it. Awesome. Kanye West equals entrepreneur. That's true. He's an entrepreneur. That's for sure. That's a good one.
There were definitely correlations, Nathan.
Yeah, keep them coming. We love to see all these comments. Anyway, so our guest, Andrew Robert Burtt. So, Andrew, just giving you a little bit outline what we're going to talk about. If you don't know, I want to talk a little bit about your journey going from a W-2 job to, inside real estate investing. Obviously, talk about some deals you've done personally. Of course, get into the 400 houses that you've wholesaled, and then we're going to round her out with the 7-pack of houses.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
How's that sound?
Do you think you need an icebreaker before this, or are you ready just to go in and not be super straight-laced?
I think I can handle not being straight-laced.
I want to
Alright.
pick one of the icebreakers.
One of the icebreakers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Give me one.
Swimming pool or beach? And describe your perfect
That's a
scenario
good one.
there.
What
Yeah.
about a swimming pool
No.
that's overlooking the beach?
I love that. Not this or that. Both.
That's not the question,
both.
Andrew.
Usually, I feel like I would say pool, but since it's so gross outside right now,
It's
in the
snowing
moment,
here in
yeah,
St.
it's
Louis.
bad.
Yeah.
I'm going beach right
All right.
now.
What about would you
Which
rather?
beach? Which beach?
Yeah.
Oh,
And tell me your perfect setup when
Grand
you're at the
Cayman
beach.
is where we went on our honeymoon, and 7 Mile Beach there is pretty unreal. So I would go there
I
right now.
shouldn't do this.
I know you have a handful of kids,
Yes,
but in your perfect scenario, are they there with you?
yeah, they would be there
With a nanny to watch them.
with some sort of coverage, babysitter action. Yeah, they'd be there, of course.
A cooler?
Cooler,
What would be in the cooler?
umbrella. We'd have some waters.
Yep.
We'd probably have some White Claws.
yeah.
Any flowers?
Yeah, some flowers.
Yeah.
Some Mary Jane's flowers.
Yeah, those are nice.
Probably a Diet Coke or two for the wife. Yeah.
Maybe
I
a
think it'd be good.
sandwich? A beach
Yeah,
sandwich?
Sandwich.
A little
Maybe
bit
some
of turkey,
some
little
Reese's.
turkey and some pepper jack, maybe with some mayonnaise mixed in there.
Frozen Reese's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds fire.
That's quite the icebreaker. We're just gonna leave it at that then
Yeah.
and get rolling.
I'm in.
All right.
All right, awesome, Andrew. So you kind of walked that path from W-2, employee outside of real estate to working with us, but inside real estate. So why don't you talk a little bit about that journey and why you decided to kind of set aside a pretty promising career to go into the real estate industry?
Yeah. I would say, aside from seeing what you guys were doing and always being intrigued with real estate, and seeing, the success that you guys were starting to build, COVID really kind of jump-started my decision to explore it, I guess. So I would travel a lot from my previous job, sales, business development type job in the food distribution industry, and COVID kind of shut us all down. So I think I bummed a MLS login from Lucas and kind of talked to him about buying houses on the side, maybe doing a little wholesaling while I was sitting at home at the home office doing nothing. So I got the MLS login, found a few as-is deals.
Yeah.
Walked them with the actual listing agent, since they were the ones that had to let me in. I wasn't licensed
Shout out to
yet.
Jacqueline, by the
Jacqueline,
way. She's
I
super
know.
cool.
Yeah, she wound up representing us on a couple of them.
Do I know
think
Jacqueline?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the first one I bought, Faster House actually rehabbed.
Yeah,
on
we did.
Humes.
Yep, I remember that one.
And I don't know.
And
I
Sean
think-
was here for like a year before we did a rehab for him.
And rehabs
Poor
don't always
guy.
go perfect. I think we made like 12 grand on that house.
I was gonna say, I feel like I made 3,000 or 4,000,
Probably, yeah.
and I was like, this is awesome. I should
Yeah.
do that again. So picked up a check from Phil and did it again 4 or 5 times over
Yeah.
the course of
While you still had your full-time job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would be at home doing my conference calls, which were always filling up my day, and then I would sneak out and look at a house or two during the day, put in offers. Not all of them worked out, obviously, but had a decent amount of success. I look back, I'm like, how did I buy 5 houses in 6 months? I don't know. I haven't even done that now in Dispo half the time.
Yeah,
But-
because you had so much time. I remember you being in your old career, and you guys had some sort of operational backlog, and you're like, I'm a sales guy, but I can't sell anything right now because we can't
Yeah.
deliver the product. I was like, dude, that's got to be so
Yeah,
frustrating.
that's right. With COVID, I was not able to bring on new business at that time, so I was just kind of trying to keep all my clients at arm's distance for whenever we could launch them again,
Yeah.
which was awkward. 'Cause
So you
I'm-
had some free time is kind of
Yeah.
what I was getting at.
yeah.
So you
Yes.
use your free time to start something, which I think is what a lot of people do. They use that free time to start to learn a skill or do something before they jump all in. You got to have that level of comfortability. You got to prove it to yourself, probably to your family, that's something that you can do. And quick shout out to Devin. He said he's bought a house and has gained $100,000 in equity because of our content.
Nice.
Us and Grant are the best. I'm assuming he's talking about Grant Cardone. But you throw fun comments in there and you will get shout outs and we will talk about it. So Andrew.
Yeah, it was getting a little lit with co-host Matt the other day in the
Yeah.
comments I saw. And
Yeah, people were getting wild. Marty's like
saying
a
it was like
freaking
Clark
like a
Kent.
natural. I don't know if you watched any. You watched
I
a
did.
little
I watched a lot of
Yeah,
it.
He was
Yeah.
a natural.
I was commenting, you guys never posted one of them.
Well, I don't think we saw them. We don't see all the comments. I don't
Yeah.
think because I didn't see any of yours. I don't know what platform you're on. So Andrew,
Yes.
got a little bit of experience and decided to take that leap.
Yeah, got some confidence, got some experience, got a little taste, and Luke and I sat down, I don't know, 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
over the early part of 2021.
Yeah, man. I remember a
And
couple
I was
of those.
equal parts excited and terrified
Yeah.
because I had a little success at my last job, was climbing the corporate ladder, and there were perks to the corporate life, travel and sports games,
Yeah.
concerts, all that cool stuff, but
You got to go to a Drake concert.
I
There's
was like,
perks
at
for
the
us
end of
too.
the day, I can just do that stuff with my friends rather than use work as a means to
Use
do it.
Luke's money to go to Drake.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
it.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
kinda the same
sitting
thing
at
now.
a restaurant on Main Street, St. Charles, and we were talking about, I think it was a recent deal that you did or something. I think you made like $5,000 on one deal before you started. I was like, dude, you can do this once a week. I was like, but you got to get out there and network and do this and that. And we were looking at your personality assessment, and we're like, maybe this isn't best for your
You hate
personality.
people.
Because Andrew's a little bit more of an introvert and a little more process oriented than like your natural salesperson. And I was like, so I don't know if you'll be able to do it. He goes, for $5,000 a week, I'll be able to
Yeah,
do
I'll
it.
figure something out, right?
Yeah, I remember that. And you did do it. And you did a damn good job of just figuring it out. And then we're able to kind of transition into a more natural role for you, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
As
Andrew,
Dispo, you mean?
yeah, as
Yes.
Dispo. Yeah, we'll get into
Yes.
that. So Andrew, what? So Dusty's in Aruba right now. What do you think he did today on the beach?
I actually read a 7-page long email of him recapping the U.S. Marshals and police that are chasing our crackheads in Imperial today.
Oh goodness. Well,
So,
well, that's
he was
interesting. Well,
typing
what do you think
emails
Dusty
early.
did on the beach in Aruba today?
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Oh, dude, go do something.
What do you think he did today?
He saved somebody's life.
He did
No
CPR
way.
and saved
Yeah.
somebody's life on the beach. Such a Dusty thing.
That is so dusty.
It attracts to him.
Yes.
Needing to save lives.
Yeah.
CPR, was it a shark attack?
I have
What are we
no.
talking
I
about?
don't know. We don't know any details. All I know is CPR on the beach to save somebody.
I don't know
Oh
if
my
CPR is
gosh.
going to do it if
Yeah.
it's a shark attack.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Andrew, I think
true.
that's yeah.
That'd be a tourniquet.
Yeah.
I do that too. Though.
Yeah.
I think you want to slow the blood flow down.
Yeah, not yeah. Anyway, so Andrew started out being a house buyer and moved into disposition. So why don't you kind of talk about this dispositions role and what you like about it and kind of how you've used your skill sets to really elevate it?
Yeah, I love Dispo. At first,
I guess define what dispo is because
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
not people might not even know.
disposition. So, as we talked about acquisitions, we have people that go out and buy the wholesale properties as is. If Faster House doesn't rehab them, or if you all don't add them to your portfolio or someone else in the office's portfolio, then I'm in charge of working with our local investors and dispositioning or selling those properties to them.
Okay.
So I took that role over from Matt in November of 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, he introduced me to as many as he could out of our 35-ish 100 buyers on our buyers list. And when I get new properties, I have a email and text list that it goes out to. And basically, we find the best deal with the best fit of a buyer for any of those properties that we have to sell. So it's been really cool to see all the buyers that we work with, all the different kind of areas that they focus in, whether it's a certain part of town, midterm rentals, long-term rentals, fix and flips. People want to buy trailer parks. You never know. So it's interesting to see all the different backgrounds of real estate investors that we work with.
For sure. I think it's a fun job. So generally, he's kind of like, if you want to look at super simple terms that aren't exactly accurate, but he's like a real estate listing agent for investors. I mean, he's not, you're an agent, but you don't list it through that, but you sell houses to investors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. I
Off
like it.
market, not on market.
Sweet Disposition's great track. Oh, is that a song?
Sweet Disposition.
You know that one?
I don't think I
Don't know it either.
We'll have to put that
Who's
on
the
the
artist?
list.
Can we play that one?
Is that Aerosmith?
Let's play some Sweet Disposition. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a banger.
I think you should make a song called that
Yeah.
if there's not one.
I'll add it. We should have put it on when I walked in.
All right, Lucas, you asked him a question. I'm asking him all the questions.
Yeah, you talked about, I think people want to know how to find deals, right?
Yeah.
And I think working with people like you who control the deals for some of these larger companies in your market in St. Louis, it's Faster House is one of them, but there's some other ones there. Bigger companies like us in every single market that a lot of them have like a sole disposition guys, like the gatekeeper to all the deals. And that's
Yeah.
you for us. And maybe just some tips and tricks on the best way to approach you, like when someone comes on to understand and vet them and realize that they're for real and not going to screw us on a deal, and maybe some tips and tricks for new investors out there.
Yeah. Last night would be a great deal, your local networking events. We had
Yeah.
Buyers Club last night, which we host. We always shop a deal or two at that event. So obviously going to your local networking meetups, meeting face-to-face, I think is huge.
So you want to meet that person face to face
I would like
eventually.
to.
at
The
some
more
point,
hands you
right?
shake, the more money you make.
Gosh, gangster.
Of
dude.
course. Yeah. Put that on a track too.
Yeah. Sweet
Um,
disposition.
Yeah, I love meeting people face to face, whether it's coffee at the networking event, grabbing lunch, or even a lot of people just, I feel like, pop into our office too.
Yeah.
Just
You're
show up.
good with that?
Yeah, for the most part.
Would you like a heads up? Like, hey, I'm going to swing by.
Yeah.
Maybe bring you a coffee or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, crumble cookies.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something little. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive, but not always taking from you, right? Here, let me provide something to you, and maybe in return, somewhere down the road, you can give me a deal of some
Yeah.
sort, right?
Yeah.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Would you stop it with
with
the
the one-liners
cliches?
for the love. I had this conversation 2 different times yesterday where people are like, I know you probably get asked this all the time, but how do I get stuff before you blast it out
Yeah.
to your network? And that's a really hard question for me to answer, because if I tell everybody before I blast it, then I might as well just blast it. But Staying top of mind, honestly. When I was a buyer, I always wondered how wholesalers could keep me top of mind. And it's really, I tell people, don't feel bad for texting me every other week or something and saying, hey, do you have anything in my buy box right now? Because a lot of times we might have something that the guys are working on or that we just locked up under contract and I haven't even sent out yet. And I can say, oh, yeah, we did just lock one up in Maryland Heights today, and here it is.
Your network is your net worth.
Yes, I knew that was going to come sooner or later.
That's what she said.
Yeah, okay.
How about that's all you can say for the rest of this show?
Let's play the
You just
quiet
have to
game.
say one-liners. That'd be hard to communicate, but you could probably figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Where there's a will, there's a way.
we'll keep working through with Andrew here, but if you got questions for a gentleman that's wholesaled 400 houses over the past couple of years, throw it in the chat box. We'll get to your questions. A lot of good insight here from Andrew.
And we do have the program set up that the more you double tap the screen and give it likes, your questions kind of show up here a little bit better. So
Yes.
I'll go back to the one-liners now.
Okay, sounds good. So, not all is. Do we always accept the highest offer?
No.
No. And what are some other things that we look for when reviewing offers from investors?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is financing.
Yeah.
I would say we try to avoid a financing contingency if we can, whether that's hard money or a construction loan.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Cash. Cash is king. Where were you with that one? But yeah, no finance contingency.
It's my job to do those. You just answered
Okay.
the damn question.
No finance contingency. Another one we've run into a lot lately is kind of title companies. So
Yeah.
we have title work set up on the front end that's already being done when our acquisitions guys get it under contract. Try to keep it at that same company, no matter what company it is, on the double close or assignment side. And we've had some pushback from buyers wanting to stay with their title company, which I
Yeah.
understand. We all have business loyalties, but it makes the whole transaction easier for all parties if we just kind of keep it there. So little nuances of the deal, I think, can be really crucial in having your offer be picked over another one, even if it's a couple $1,000s lower.
Devil is in the details.
So on the title company side, what you're saying is, Andrew, like the seller has the option to choose a title company, and the buyer has the option to choose a title company.
On the
And-
retail
and-
market.
And that does not have to be the same title company, right?
Right.
So when we're doing investment transactions, a lot of times, it's an assignment or a double close, and it makes the whole process easier for everyone involved if both parties, buyer and seller, close at the same title company. Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yep.
He understood the assignment.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go.
So yeah, financing, title company's big. Being able to close on our established close date, which if you're cash, usually you can. But yeah, devil's in the details. Not always about the money.
Man, you
Timing
guys
is everything.
I can't take this. You guys got to stop.
You told me to do it.
All right, please stop. We can do it. We can do it later.
Okay, fine.
All right, a couple questions. I don't know if I know this answer. I don't know if Andrew knows this answer. Maybe Sam, you do. Does Andrew know if the same laws and regulations apply to Canada as it does in the States?
Yes, so Canada is very, very similar to the U.S. housing system. The only difference that I know, because we have students in Canada, and I've talked to people in Canada, the biggest difference in Canada is their banking system. So they have 5 banks, that's it, like 5 big banks that have branches and things like that. So their banking system is not deregulated like ours. You can't just start a bank up there. So other than that, it's pretty much the same. I don't know the exact nuances, but you can wholesale, you can flip, you can buy rentals, you can do the Burrs method, you can do everything in Canada you can do down here. You just have to work with those banks.
Okay.
So that's the biggest
do you
difference.
know if they do like a product for the Burrs, one of those banks?
Oh yeah,
do?
oh
Okay.
100%. I
Nice.
know a lot of people that have, or somebody in CG has like 250 houses in Canada as
Dang.
rental property, so you can for sure do it.
Nice. Super cool. Great
Yep.
answer, Sam.
Thanks, bro.
It's much better than a one-liner.
I know.
Yeah. All right, what else you got from Mr. Burtt here, Sam?
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Andrew, let's talk a little bit about your flips that you've done. How many flips have you done?
I'm just wrapping up my second.
How did that one go?
Not great.
Was it an accidental flip?
Yes.
What is an accidental flip?
An accidental flip is when you buy your first rental property and there's more repairs than you had planned on, so you decide to flip it. and then more repairs pile onto that, and you're still trying to flip it.
How much are you going to make on this?
Not any money.
Are you going to lose any money?
Maybe $2,000 to $3,000.
That's not too bad.
It's not terrible. It's not great.
No.
But
How many separate times have you listed this house?
twice.
Why did you have to take it down and then relist it? What did you do incorrectly the first time?
The first time, like I said, I bought it as a rental, added the dining room as a third bedroom to have more bedrooms, obviously. I did just a light rehab, paint, fixtures, kitchen appliances, and counters. The basement needed about $8,000 more than I planned on in my initial walkthrough, and the detached garage was in much worse shape than I also planned on with termite and water damage. So the occupancy inspector for that municipality had some requests that were going to take a while. A new roof on that garage, new structural. I needed engineering report, architectural drawings. I ended up refinishing the floors after the occupancy inspection. So basically, it became a full-blown flip after the occupancy inspector came through.
In hindsight, would you have done a lot of that on the front end before you listed it the first time?
Yeah.
Or? Yeah.
I put it up in November to try to beat the holidays and see if I could just dump it before the end of the year, before Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I had what I thought was a good offer at like $150,000 to get rid of it. They ghosted. The occupancy inspection came back pretty big. So I spoke with some of our good agents here in the office, and they said it's probably best to just take it down through the holidays, get your repairs done, do it right, stage it. So I did that, and it actually sold when I relisted it in like 2 days. And now I have the buyer's inspection. The cast iron's cracked under the foundation, so we're going to be digging up that basement floor. And I'll be hopefully rid of it here in about 30 days. March 21st or something.
Yeah, that's more than 30 days.
Yeah.
So
More like 45.
Yeah. But I would have had to, if I wanted to keep it as a rental, which at this point it's a really solid house, I would have to leave close to $30,000
in order to get it to cash flow and in
Yeah.
general, just to get the bank financing that you need. Yeah.
Yeah, the bank would refi, and I would be in it to about $30,000 more than they'd refinance.
Don't do that.
Especially not for your first one. I think it's
No.
worth, breaking even, cutting your losses, and moving on to a fresh new project.
My first one went so well, though. I feel like I'm paying the piper on the second one.
You'll talk about your first one a little bit.
My first one was in a really nicer part of town, I would say, than this one, and got in and out in, 3 months with a pretty cosmetic rehab roof and all that. And that one went the first weekend as well. Escalation clause kicked in, so it went over asking price, which was nice. So
How much did you make on that one?
We netted like a little over 50, almost $55,000.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
So if I lose 2 or 3 on this one, it was still
Still a net positive.
net positive. Yes.
For sure. I
Nice,
saw net
man.
positive. I like it.
I like it. So you're a disposition manager, but you come across a lot of houses to buy because of so many connections you have with real estate agents all over our city.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, not just real estate agents, investors all over our city.
Yeah.
So normally, how many houses did you purchase as an investment last year?
Oh, I didn't buy as many as I should have. I only bought like 6 or 8 last year.
But still, 5 to 10, you're gonna just kind of run into.
Yeah.
Super cool. And you just ran into 7
Yeah.
houses.
Yep.
And this is a super interesting deal.
Yeah.
And maybe one that makes our cheeks a little tight, but also one that gets us super excited
Yeah.
about what the possibilities. Just walk us through this deal, everything from how you found it, what the deal is, what our plan is, everything.
So it was brought to me by an agent who is also an investor, who also does a lot of bank-owned REO type stuff, real estate owned, bank owned. So he called me on a Sunday a few weekends ago, and I missed it. So he texted me and said, "Hey, I have a deal. It's 7 houses in this certain area, University City, close to Olivet. Would you be interested?" And I said, "Of course." So we called up the next day, and he said, "Hey, there's a lot of kind of fine print with this deal, but the short story is that there's a new development there, and a big local developer was going to go in and buy up these 16 houses on this little street, level them, and put in a high-rise luxury apartment complex. But their plans changed because some other anchor stores, grocery stores, and a Target pulled out. So the developer with the apartments
I didn't.
The developer with the apartments also pulled out, and they relocated. So there's they were only able to acquire 7 of the 16 that they were going to eventually level for the apartments. So now these 7 houses have been sitting vacant for anywhere from 1 to 5 years, and that developer brought them to our guy's partner, who called me, and he said, actually, you guys are the only ones I'm going to send these to, because I know that you're no BS. You will close. You won't shop them, even though I know that's your actual job, is to shop properties. You're not going to shop these. So he also said, here's the price per house. My partner wanted me to come to you higher, but again, I don't want to go back and forth. So here's the price. If you can do it, great. I think you'll be able to. So I went and looked at one, and I was like, this is definitely a deal. I had to run that afternoon, so I went back with Dusty and our project manager, Ryan, and we walked the additional 6 and made the numbers dance a little. To your point with the tight cheeks, I think we'll be good. But we came across about $590K rehab budget for these 7 houses combined.
Yeah. What is it, like?
80 grand a house.
It's like 80
85,
house.
yeah.
One of them's 100. A couple of them are 75.
That's
the
we'll
rest
put
are
some
like
money in
85.
that neighborhood, gents.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I think the cool part about this deal, or one of the cool parts, a lot of cool parts, but you know, we've been living by integrity for a long time. We do the right thing. We built a good reputation. And that is the sole reason, and your relationship with the gentleman, that we're able to get this deal. They're not shopping it to anybody else, because it is on them to execute a few stipulations that the city and the development put into place. And if they don't own it, they have to have someone else execute these things that they said to do, and they only trusted us to get those done.
Yes.
Relationships or relationships?
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
No, I think in general, this goes to show that real estate investing is a relationship business. Lucas and I talk about this a lot, and I get a lot of comments on nobody would ever give me $26 million in loans, or nobody would ever do that. It takes time to do these things. If you had just met this gentleman, you wouldn't have sent you this deal, but the fact that you built a relationship. So it's super important to build relationships with people and continue to, kind of groom that relationship, because it could turn into a lot one day. Just because you don't get something out of a relationship right away doesn't mean you won't in the future. I think this is a perfect example of that, because I think this is kind of risky, but I also think that there's a potential big win at the end of this one, right?
Yeah, shuffle some into the marketing budget if we have to.
Yeah, for sure. I think, if you're gonna take risks, which is what real estate investing is, right? You gotta
Life's a risk.
Yeah, what is that word? Calculated risk, right? That's all we're doing is evaluating risk. So the larger the risk, the bigger the opportunity on the back end has to be. You don't want to be taking large risks for a very minimal return. So this one has an opportunity for a fantastic return for us.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andresha. I think she's going to be joining the community, by the way. I've been chatting with her on Instagram, so I want to give her a shout out.
Yeah, very cool.
What's up, Andresha?
Yeah, thanks
I
for
see
the
high-fiving in there,
thumbs
too.
up. Yeah, very cool. But yeah, so it's 7 houses on a one cul-de-sac street. There's probably 12 houses total or something
16.
like 16 total. So we're almost half of the neighborhood, and buying them for $190 a piece, give or take. They need 75. The recent comp sold for $355. So on all of them.
We're putting a lot of eggs in that one comp on that street.
But
basket.
our houses are even better than that comp.
Yeah, that comp is like the average of all these. We have a couple bigger.
Yeah.
We have a few the exact same, and a couple that are slightly smaller.
Well, and we're going into spring. Like, hopefully these things will be listed in the early summer, late spring. The market's going to be hot. It's hot almost every spring, even during like down times of spring is always usually pretty hot.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be cool because there's 7 within a stone's throw of each other.
Yeah.
Right? So we can mobilize certain trades and contractors at a time. So because it's 7 houses, it's not going to take the time to do 7 houses like back to back to back to back. It's going to be done simultaneously.
Yeah.
Almost probably the same length of time as one house, because it's going to be landscape all at once. It's going to be demo all at once. It's going to be painting all at once.
That's called efficiency.
Roofs? Or
roofs.
roofs.
It's a roof.
Roofs.
There's no V. I don't think it changed.
Like hooves.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so. Stones throw away. You know, it got me thinking of who could throw a rock the furthest out of all three of us?
Me.
Who do you think?
Right now, I'd say me.
I'd say me. Not even that close.
At this point, it's definitely me.
I bet it's me, you.
What do you guys do?
We did the egg toss out there, and I chucked an egg damn near Highway 40.
Do you guys practice like throwing rocks? Is that like a thing you guys
got
do?
a cannon, bro.
You used to have a below average arm, but now you're
way above average arm.
All right.
All of our shoulders are shot.
Yeah,
this
at least it's my left shoulder. I got a cannon, bro. Bring it.
You got something. All right, keep the comments going.
I would say last thing on this is I feel like it snowballs. The whole integrity, doing what you say you're going to do, telling people about real estate is like, we're going to do this, and who knows, down the road another development deal doesn't happen. Like, Faster House, they just did 7 on one street. They closed. They honored a contract that isn't even really ours. It's like 2 steps removed from us at this point.
Yep.
And we're still put it in our contract that we would do everything the original developer said they would do.
You're 100% right, Andrew, and I think it gives us the opportunity to, because we know it's a done deal. Like, we know we're going to execute. We know this is going to be a profitable venture for us, but it's going to be. We need to step up our game to promote this project because it's super cool, and get to let other people know that we can do this, so we can get that deal flow as well.
Yep.
Be awesome content as well
for your new channel, Walls.
For sure, some sort of press release I think would be super cool for this, and I think like it's almost like a new construction subdivision with a whole bunch of spec houses. Right, we're gonna park the tiny house that Burtt can't sell like right out front of the
Does
street.
anybody buy a tiny house?
Yeah, that's a good
Faster
point.
Deals.
Yeah. Andrew at Faster Deals. If you're looking to buy a tiny house, that's a great deal.
Or any house if you're looking to invest in.
Well, I mean, but
St. Louis in general, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we need to get rid of that damn hot tiny house.
FasterDeals.com.
Are you gonna buy it again next year if we sell it? If we don't have it sold?
How about next month, dude?
Not if we don't have it sold, no, obviously.
Okay.
But
wacky. I think we need one of those wacky inflatable guys out front of our street.
Yeah.
In general, yes, I think getting this out there would be good because it just shows people, because not that many people have the ability to close on a deal like this and actually rehab and do it the right way and not like just half-ass it.
Yeah. Very cool. It's a cool structure too. We're utilizing a bank for the purchase and the construction, using a construction loan, so we'll be doing the draw process and utilizing some private lenders in the mix too to help fund some of the down payments. So it's fun. It's a fun deal structure. It's a fun deal. We're looking forward to showing you guys some progress as we move along. We're closing like March 8th, so it's going to start here quick.
We should probably landscape cleanup starts next week.
Nice. Yeah.
Shelly Callie says bright in there, Samuel. It's called Frame Fridays, and I wear sunglasses on our Friday show. So just deal with it. What is the interest with a private money lender? Real quick question. That is usually 8 to 12% annualized is per typical. All right, Andrew, for a new anybody watching on here, there's a schemer. Anybody watching on here, how many, isn't that wild? That's our name. Anybody watching on here that wants to, do their first deal in 2024. Wholesaling, flipping, renting, doesn't even matter. They want to get in real estate. What are a couple things that you would tell them that they can do right now to kind of move the needle as quickly as possible?
Yeah, I would say get your ducks in a row in terms of where you're finding deals. If you have a few wholesalers or a few local companies like us, whatever it is, have a couple deal streams coming in. Line up your funding, whether it's hard money, home equity loan, construction loan, whatever that looks like. Maybe you have a couple different options, private lender, obviously. Contractors is a big one. We've had people they find the deals, they have the money, then they buy the house and they're not really sure who's going to do the work. Yeah. So if you can have all of your ducks in a row, and then honestly, the hardest part sometimes is just taking action. Just put in an offer, do your walkthrough, non-contingent. I know it's scary, but just do it. And is that too crazy?
No, it's not. So we talked about this last night, which I know you weren't there. So what percentage of you would you say taking action is of being successful and like learning something? We have a number. I know the number, so I'm interested if you know it or not.
It's over
it's a
50.
fact.
It's got to be over 50.
Yes. How much over 50?
I'm thinking like 65.
Ooh, it's not a real number, but we say what I've said, and I've talked to students. We say last night that like getting knowledge and understanding the process, you can only learn like how to do it 20%. We say 80% is actually doing it. And I did an analogy like last night. You can't hit a home run with your bat on your shoulder.
That's right. That's right.
You like that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You can strike out with your bat on your shoulder.
You can. Yep. You got to
Looking.
swing. You got to
Looking.
swing. You used to strike out looking all the time with your damn
Right.
knuckleball. Cool. All right. So Andrew, we're gonna rock into because our time is a little bit off because you were late because you're an old man. We're gonna rock into the Would You Rather segment. This is brought to you by Prime Corporate Services. What does Prime Corporate Services do? Walls.
They do a lot of different stuff, right? They're a pretty large company that has great customer service. All right.
500 employees, I think.
500 employees.
That's
That's amazing, but not
Yeah.
like overly large where you get lost in the shuffle.
Correct.
Great
It's a great
customer
number.
service. Just starting off, they have consulting. Number one, to set up your accounting structure, your LLC structure. So they'll set up an LLC for you, super cheap. It's like the cheapest thing I've ever seen. And they have experts in house that can do it for you, and they do it at volume. That's why they can do it so cheap. We saw the quote to set up something of ours. We're like, this has to be wrong. Like before, they were like a true partner of ours, and no, they just do so many of them. That's how they make their money. So super cheap. Set up an LLC, set up a holding company if you need to do any of that. They can understand your bookkeeping for you. They can do your bookkeeping for you, I believe.
Bookkeeping, tax prep, tax filing, everything.
Yeah, and they can get that all set up with a free introductory call with one of their consultants and figure out what kind of help you need and how they can provide that help for you.
Yep, and the link's in the show notes or the description. So if you're on Instagram or Facebook, and by the way, if you're on Facebook right now, that is obviously not me. That is a scammer. I don't have a WhatsApp account. But anyways, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, just DM me the letters LLC, and I'll send you the information. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description. And if you're listening, it is in the show notes. So there you go. All right, Andrew, we're going to play a little Would You Rather. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
We're all three going to – look at that popped up there. How nice is that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, okay.
Timely.
Did you not know there's a screen there?
No, I did.
Okay. All right, so I'll do the first one. So we all answer these. You got to give your reasons. Would you rather travel the world or explore space?
Travel the world. I think I'd have a full-blown panic attack if I went into space.
Yeah. I think that's legitimate. What do you think, Andrew? Or what do you think, Lucas?
Can you come back to me?
I can, yes. So I was thinking about that. So
Where are you going to go in space?
well, that's the thing. I think space would be cool. I'm assuming, and this is, you take this your own way, I'm assuming that there's safety. We're not risking anything doing this. But in space, like, how far are you going to get? What are you really going to see?
just
Like,
go out and turn around?
And like, it's going to it takes
I
like,
got my answer.
it takes like 4 months to get to Mars. It'd be cool to go there, but you're not going to see anything.
Right.
It takes 4 months to get to Mars?
I think so.
didn't
How
know
long does
that.
it take to get to Mars?
I thought longer, but
Oh, man.
Look it up.
Look
How
that
long
up,
does it
Shane.
take to get to Mars? So, anyways,
So we're not going to Mars.
But I don't really give a shit about traveling. Oh yeah, it's way more than 4 months. What am I talking about? Yeah. Anyways, I don't really.
he said it with such confidence. I thought he knew.
I know.
yeah, it takes 4 months to get to Mars.
Yeah.
I think
Wouldn't we have done it by now? I guess
we have. We're on Mars. I mean,
not people though.
No.
Jeff Bezos is.
Yeah, probably.
6 years. 7 months. Yeah. So not
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, pretty good.
We could be there.
300 million miles.
Have you heard this crazy thing that like Elon Musk, he's right about some things, obviously wrong about some. He says that in the future, like there's a way to get to Mars where you like slingshot around something and it gets you there really quickly, and they're gonna like do like trips like twice a year when that timing, so you can get there fishing. So you're gonna go twice. They're gonna be able to go to Mars like once or twice a year during this timing, and it's gonna be like they're gonna be on Mars and they're gonna people living there, and it's gonna be like you came over on that, like they're gonna call that each of the times something. So that's how you got over there was on like that whatever that time. So that's
slingshot
wild.
solstice
Yeah,
thing.
something like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, but I don't really travel much anyway. I don't like leaving the country. I don't care. I have any desire to go to Italy or anything like that. So anyways, I would say probably travel space.
Really?
You
So you just
got-
want to go straight up
Well, I'm assuming that I'm gonna like see something out there.
like Earth.
space junk, satellites.
Set, yeah.
What about you?
Okay, so a lot of thought in this. For
Yeah,
me,
you
obviously.
you were thinking hard about this question than any question yet we've gotten.
There's part of me that wants to see the world,
Okay.
obviously, but then I think about all the effort that it would take travel the world, and it's going to take more than 7 months. And we're talking
That
about
is true.
It's going to take years and years and years, and I would rather be doing something else with that time than
Just
traveling the
floating in
world right
space,
now.
doing nothing.
Well, no, I think I could jump up to space, hang out for a few days, and come back down.
You don't have to go to Mars.
Okay.
And have like such an amazing experience that could last a lifetime that I would never forget.
Yeah.
And then I can travel the world or travel certain places of the world when I want to, and have the capability with my family.
I like it. So before we move on to the next
Space.
one, let's do a poll. Whoever gets closest wins. How long do you think it takes to get to the moon?
It's much closer.
It is closer. That's smart. That's good.
I would say a week.
Andrew?
Yeah. Let's go 2 weeks.
I think it's like 3-4 days.
It's like 280,000 miles. Is that right?
Nice.
3 days. Gosh, maybe I should have been an astronaut.
You
Yeah.
should be. You still should be. It's not too late.
It's
Sam.
not
Follow
too
your
late.
passion. Find your
Gosh.
why.
3
Fine.
days.
All right, Lucas, you got the second one.
All right. Would you rather, we'll get it kicked off with AB again here, but we'll all answer. Would you rather give up pizza forever
Ooh,
or French fries?
French fries, no question. Next.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy for me.
Dude,
French
I
fries.
love pizza so
I
much.
think
I
pizza maybe
I'm
5 days
French
a
fries
week.
are okay. A good French fry. There's not a lot better than a really, really good French fry, like a nice salty, crunchy one. But I would
Yeah.
100%
See, I
rather
like
give
the
up French
SOG,
fries.
the McDonald's SOG.
Yeah, but those are good. But I would obviously, if I had to give up something, I love pizza. I would not.
Yeah.
How do you eat pizza, Lucas?
I mean, if I'm busy and need some efficiencies involved, I take 2 pieces
Okay.
and I fold them, topping,
Like a calzone.
like a calzone, and then I bite it like a sandwich, so I can knock out 2 pieces. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's called efficiency, bro. I learned that working on the pipelines back in the day, laying pipe.
Wow. Yeah.
Laying
Laying
pipe
that
and eating
shallow
pizza
pipe.
fast. That's
Yep.
what they do.
There
And
you
and
go.
I just look at pizza like how many different variations and flavors you can get, and it could keep you on. I could maybe eat pizza for every meal the rest of your life.
Yeah, breakfast pizza.
Breakfast pizza.
Lunch
What do we got
dessert
on here?
pizza.
Pizza also was
Veggie
the
pizza.
choice dish.
And French fries, they do have some variations like loaded French fries, but in general,
Yeah.
they're all the same.
Yeah.
Speaking of French fries, real quick, and pizzas, where are your favorite French fries from? Let's keep it at fast food. Fast
I would say
food.
McDonald's probably French fries, and I don't.
Not even close, guys.
Lion's Choice pretty good.
Yeah.
And
So you
I
like
like
the skinny fries?
yes. We know what else isn't bad fries though. It's only when they're hot though. So Penn Station and Chick-fil-A fries. Those are fries that if they're not like hot, they taste like completely different food.
Like potato
Like when
mush.
they're hot, they're so good. Like a
Yeah.
hot crunchy from either of those are really good. What about you?
Penn
Luke?
Station fries are phenomenal. You don't
Especially
they
when
like
they're hot.
Put the potato like through the
There,
the
yeah,
dicer
they're super
there,
fresh,
and
yeah.
then that's so good. I like I love those. You can't.
I
beat
will
those.
put you through. Look at the scammer commenting.
reading
That's
that.
so funny.
Yeah. Get the
Yeah.
space out of your name.
I'll put
bro.
you through to the lucrative field. Do you understand that people watching know that that's not us? You fucking idiot. All right, sorry. Keep
Stop
going.
trying to scam people, man.
Yeah.
We're trying to teach.
Send them some Bitcoin.
Yeah. Just like keeping it super simple, I like Wendy's fries a lot.
I actually would have. I knew you were going to say Wendy's.
You didn't.
So good.
You didn't know that.
I,
good. Little
I
thicker.
knew he was going to say
A
Wendy's.
little thicker than a McDonald's.
He's a big Wendy's guy.
I love Wendy's. I think they top 5 fast food burger hands down.
Burger.
Oh yeah.
All right. Not even gonna.
What about
Value
pizza?
menu.
Where's your guys' favorite pizza joint?
Emos? I love emos.
I know.
Man. Emos is so
I'm a
good.
New York,
Gosh.
New York style.
That's
Yeah.
that's similar to
Just 'cause
Emos,
you're
right?
mu-
Thin crust.
It's a little thicker. Like locally, I like Racanelli's a lot.
Ooh,
Do you like? You like? You're an emos guy,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Courtney doesn't like emos,
yeah. I see it, but I
but
love
it's
it.
so
Courtney.
good.
It
When we
is.
get those, when we watch the games, those are incredible.
Yep.
Shout out Cecil's. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Last one, Sammy. You want to get it?
Yep. Would you rather take a coding class or an art class?
Art.
Art. Not even close.
Yeah.
So you guys even think about it? Like
I thought about
art
it.
would
I
be
think
more
you could
fun,
do
but it'd be
well
much
coding.
more practical to
Yeah.
take a coding class.
We'll just hire a coder.
Yeah.
You
And
can
I'll
hire
go
an
draw.
artist. The only true artist here is me anyway.
Well, I'm not going to get any joy out of coding.
Yeah.
There's so many types of art that you can do and enjoy
Finger
and
painting.
have fun. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. Body paint,
Yes, I
making
like it.
portraits. What other types of art? Like music?
Yeah.
Interpretive dance.
Yeah. Clay pottery.
Clay pottery would be sick.
Yeah. The old.
Yeah.
What's that thing called?
I guess I could log in and
What is-
block that. If we got scammers in there, should be able to log in and block it from
What
a
is
dummy phone.
pottery? When it spins and you mold it, what is that spinner
Throwing
called?
clay.
No.
It's called the
Clay
pottery wheel.
thrower?
Pottery
Pottery
wheel,
wheel.
that's right.
Nice. What, blowing
like-
glass?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say coding because I like to be practical.
Sounds boring.
Yeah.
But
loser.
practical.
Yeah.
Kidding. Shout out to all you coders out there. You guys
Yeah,
are
that's
amazing.
me.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Tyler is gonna be mad at you now.
No, we need you, but I am not that person.
You are not him.
God, this guy.
He really is.
I know.
He's probably got 3 internships
Lucas, you
signed
get
up.
that going. I'll block him right now.
These have
What
been
are we
pretty
doing?
easy.
Okay,
Stump me.
so that's the would you rather. Art, coding. Okay,
Got
that's
it.
about right. All right, so we're gonna end this on motivation, right? Not end this. We're not even close to done. We got like 10 full minutes, but I'm gonna read like a quote, Bert, for you, and you tell me what this quote, how it resonates with you. Okay. We like to get people, especially on Friday, like to get people pumped up over the weekend. Weekends are beneficial for so many reasons for so many people, whether you reset, recalibrate, recharge to go crush it on Monday, or maybe your weekend's the time to go hustle and find deals.
dude. Estate sales.
Exactly. So this is a cool quote from Thomas Edison. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's deep.
I like that.
Yeah, tell me about that one.
You don't know anything about deep, Lucas.
We talk about that all the time. I think it goes back to action.
Yeah.
A lot of people, CJ and I did a presentation for some property managers last week, and we're talking to them about investing and taking that first leap or whatever.
Yeah.
And that guy had a quote that stuck with me that said a lot of people expect the fish to jump in the boat.
Ooh, that's good.
And I liked that one too.
You could teach a
Yeah.
man how to fish,
Right.
right?
Then the fish come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
it's-
mean, some fish do jump in the boat,
I know.
like them Asian
Asian
carp,
carps.
right?
Yeah, it's work, and you have to take some risk, like we talked about earlier, and
Yeah.
all of that combined can be scary for
Yeah.
people. So roll up the sleeves, baby.
Yeah, I think a lot of good stuff here. Then I'll kick it over to you, Sam, after I dig into it here. But to me, it starts with getting clear on like your investment strategy and what and how your investment strategy is going to correlate and fit into your life. Do you want to make a whole bunch of money and fix and flip and wholesale? Do you want to provide generational wealth for your family? Those are the two like main differences, I think. And then understand and get super clear about that strategy, so then when a opportunity that comes into your line of sight doesn't align with your investment strategy, just pass on it super quick. But when it does, you have to be ready for it and be able to jump on it and take that action. And sometimes even when it does align with your strategy, it's going to take a little work. It's going to push you out of your comfort zone one way or another. But that's not always a bad thing. That's where growth happens outside of that comfort zone. Sam, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear I'd see the quote, I didn't hear your guys' reaction. I was blocking that D-bag on Facebook, which there's like 4 people watching, so then they're not really screwing anybody over. But I did. In general, yeah, I'm a big hard work guy.
Overalls too.
I think overall, so I think you can like brute force your way to success with hard work. Of course, there's more efficient ways to do it, but if you're just trying to be efficient and aren't going to roll up your sleeve, it's going to be pretty tough. I feel like your odds are much higher at being successful if you're willing to put in that extra work and effort, because eventually you'll figure it out. If you're just dipping your toes in the water or you're trying to figure out the most efficient way to do it and not work hard, it's going to be pretty tough to do. So I think you can accomplish a lot just by brute force and rolling up your sleeves and figuring it out.
Nice.
Think about
I feel
that?
like real estate is obviously work, but even when I was doing it on the side, I enjoyed it so much
Same.
that I didn't really I would do it at 9 o'clock at night, just cruising houses while I was
Yeah.
watching TV and put in a few leads, and it's just like
I
fun,
love it, man.
because you could step on $10,000 while you're doing that.
For sure, yeah. We were at houses all weekend for the first 2 or 3 years of our investing career, and I wanted to be there.
Right.
Like I would wake up at like, I didn't have kids.
Like
so
11?
No, it was like 7,
Oh,
and I was
damn.
like 26, 27, waking up at like pretty early for me at that stage of my life. on the weekends and I would go to QT, get some breakfast, and go straight to the house.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. That was my routine. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel like hard work to me. But looking back on it, obviously we were busting our ass. It just wasn't
10, 15 hours
like
every single weekend. We were there at the houses. It was, and we talked about this recently too. We're like, I prefer having like our family's everything, but if we didn't have family, like I'd be here till 10 o'clock every night. It's just so much fun to do this and grow this, and I'd rather be home. But if for some reason just snap your fingers and you don't have a family, I would be here like for 12, 15 hours a day every single
bitch.
Thanos it, and then could do. Oh yeah, we're gonna get you something behind you walls. We have the money tree there, but we put the Thanos gauntlet behind you.
That'd be good. I like.
Awesome. All right, Andrew, you were a great guest.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank you.
bro.
Thanks
Ready?
for
Watch
hosting
this.
it.
All right, let's crumble it up, Lucas. You're gonna do 1 or 2 sheets of paper.
So are we doing the same shot, or is this
Yeah, same
trash
shot.
something different?
No, same shot.
Dude, you're messing with me.
No, I'm not.
What's going on?
Nothing. Pull it up. Trash it. You gotta sit there, Andrew.
Oh dang.
One
It's
or
got
two.
a UFC vibe.
1 or 2 sheets of paper.
Where's
2.
the trash at?
Hey, that's not the
Madness.
score,
I made.
bro.
Your guess count for your
This is
score.
ridiculous.
That's what I knew you'd see. It's 2-2. It's tied.
You should have been here, right?
Yeah, if you weren't here, whose fault's that, Lucas?
Can you commentate for us? What's going on here, Bert?
Yeah,
All right. Are we shooting over here?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a camera that points to it. So
All
why don't
right.
you do a little?
I mean, if either one of you missed this, it'd be sad.
okay, comment. Like Lucas sweating at the line.
All right.
Be a commentator.
A formidable beer pong team back in the day. Okay.
Did I make it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Tell them
You're
about
supposed
it.
to
Buckets.
tell 'em.
Oh yeah. Sorry, they can't see.
Yeah.
Luke's went in. Nothing but net. Sam cocky. Nothing but net. You guys should make this a little harder. not
Tied
gonna
up.
lie.
Great shot, Sam.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you're watching. We go live on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms. If you can't make it live every Wednesday and Friday from 1:30 to 3, just check out YouTube. It's recorded there. We also break this show up into segments on YouTube. So if you want to just watch part of it, if you just want to watch Andrew's email, if you just want to watch Andrew's segment, it'll be out next week. You can just watch just that half an hour, 45-minute segment. And then also all the podcast platforms it's going to be released on. So live chat, social media, long-term YouTube, and podcast. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you guys.
See you on the next one.
Thanks. See ya.
Thanks for listening to today's. Rate, review the show.